On today's hot sheet, I'm discussing housing inventory for the week, Friday's inflation data. Today is Monday, October 14th. Finally, BAM Mania week. I am Byron Lazine, and the hot sheet starts now. Here we go. Welcome to this Monday edition of the Hot Sheet, your 24-hour look back on the housing market. We go live every single Monday through Thursday that the markets are open. Actually, that being said, I don't think the markets are even open today. Are they open today? Today is a bank holiday, so they might not be open today, by the way, but we're probably going to be shut down Wednesday as we travel out to BAM Mania, as it is BAM Mania week. Likely Wednesday will be off. So there you go. There's your makeup day today for for Wednesday off. I will do a hot sheet on Thursday. So I will be doing a hot sheet on Thursday from Las Vegas. Wednesday's our travel day, but I will do one before the VIP session on Thursday live from Las Vegas. If you're going to BAM Mania, I see Rebecca is excited for BAM Mania, excited to meet you out in Vegas as well. Who else? We've got the LP team excited for BAM Mania. If you're coming to BAM Mania, let me know in the live chat. You still have time to get a final remaining ticket over at bammania.com. We have a few reserved for the late stragglers. If you're getting FOMO now here on this Monday, go to bammania.com, or you can even email Jill at nowbam.com if you need a last call help on getting the best deal on a BAM Mania ticket. JILL at nowbam.com. Michael coming to Mania. Robert is also coming, seeing us Thursday at the VIP. Steve, I do not think there will be a BAM Mania ever in Connecticut. The airport reasons and venue reasons, and basically desirability for. I love Connecticut, Steve, as I know you do, but Vegas is more set up for these types of events. So I guess I'll just leave it at that. All right, let's get into the inventory here for the week. Jennifer, excited to see you out there as well. First off, on inventory, I said this the last couple weeks, inventory, how's it going to be impacted with the two storms in the Southeast? Southeast was driving up inventory. It was the biggest, increaser of inventory, particularly Southwest Florida, which is now, think about the Tampa, Sarasota region. That's been hit now with back-to-back storms. And, you saw significant increases throughout this year in that location, other locations in the Southeast, more so than any other part of the country. So how is overall national inventory going to be impacted by these two storms? Well, Altos Research is showing us one example here. Sorry, I need to get, I'm so excited about BAM Mania. I'm not even hooked up for the switcher, but I'm getting hooked up. So Altos Research at least carved out Tampa, right? Tampa's had now, again, two storms, Helene and Milton, back to back. And is that impacting inventory? Is there any impact? Well, of course, there's going to be an impact on inventory when you have back-to-back storms. Those homes that had taken on surge or some of those issues pull off the market. The other thing that I would say, and so look at this, before August, you had you were down to 9,600 in the Tampa, Petersburg, Clearwater active inventory. That spiked before any of the storms hit to, almost 10,000, almost another 1,000 homes, now back down below 9,800 on active listings. So almost back to where Tampa was mid-summer, after spiking as high as almost 11,000, 10,500 anyways there on for sale inventory in Tampa. I think the other thing that it might happen is you might have some people just say, like, there's so much chaos. Like, my house is fine. Some of those people, that house was fine. They got power. Nothing's, no damage. No, sir, nothing. You might say, I'm just taking my house from the market. Like everybody else is dealing with life right now. You know, we know that November's around the corner. We know the holidays are around the corner. All these things are coming around the corner. I'm going to go ahead and pull my house off the market, see if things settle down. I can get into maybe season come January. When you're talking Southwest Florida season, that's, really January to May. That's the primary chunk of season. I know, people come down earlier and they stay later, and there's more year-round people than ever before. But season is going to be that, that chunk of time when the most people are going to be down here in Southwest Florida, where I'm sitting today. So inventory has had an impact, and that's going to, it's going to skew some of the national numbers. I mean, we had a national miss here, or downside, this past week of 2,000, less than 2,000 homes. So you look at just Tampa, losing 1,000 primarily because of, I think some of that's probably time of year, but a lot of it's primarily due to the storm. You saw the sharp drop in the first chart in Tampa right after the storms. And, we have a 2,000 miss nationally, and that's just Tampa. Think about the rest of Southwest Florida, where inventory has come off the market since these storms. And I would expect more of that. Right now, my power here flickered 7 times today, since, 3 a.m. And thankfully it hasn't flickered in the last couple hours. And that's just trying to get people back on. There's a lot going on. People have had their kids home from school the last week. If you got a house on the market and you got kids home from school, do you really want it on the market? Okay. So nationally, inventory did fall 2,000. By the way, this time of year, we would expect it to fall, but we were still kind of on the uphill climb. We'll see what happens next week. It'll be super interesting to see if that late in October, we could get another increase on inventory. We're 34% more than last year. And last week was our inventory peak for the year. So again, we were still on the uphill climb on inventory, which is very encouraging. We started 2020 pre-pandemic in January 1 at 763,000, pretty close to that. So, what is the rest of this year going to bring? How low is that seasonal drop going to be before we get the spring increases? How high could next year go on inventory? More inventory will certainly help affordability and some of the other issues that we're seeing in the market. New listings were up for this week in comparison to the same week last year and in 2022. So we've now seen 6 straight weeks of an increase over both 23 and 22 on new listings. Not saying much for 23, but 22 to beat those numbers now consistently is another good sign. We still have a long way to go on new listings. We're not anywhere close to what normal looks like, but we're heading in the right direction. Price cuts right now, really hanging in flat, just under 40%, 39.62 currently. Last year, we were at 38% at this time. And in 2022, we're at 42%. These numbers they were going up at this point in both of those years. And we've been flat now for, really since August. We've just been hanging around that 40% line. And then you see the decline come in November, December. Those that hang on the market at the end of the year don't decide to take off, or like, hey, I'm going to stay on the market and there's not much competition, so why am I going to drop my price to the scale and to the degree that happens maybe in late October and early November. Okay. So there's your price cut percentages there. We've seen, obviously, we'll get into the 10-year and what's going on there, but this is just a look at the 10-year going back now for the year. Remember, right now we're kind of sitting at 4.1. We'll take a live look here today. But now going back here to the beginning of the year, we've seen some volatility. Late spring, we got up over 4.5. And so we've been on this increase now here once again on the 10-year. But the spread and the relationship between the 30-year and the 10-year is finally improving, right? If we can get down to this level, to this 2% level here, which we're on our way, we're well off of the levels that we saw in 22 and 23. We'll continue to close that gap. The 30-year could, if that gap continues to close, rather, the 30-year could lower without the 10-year dropping much more, right? If that gap continues to close. And this is one of the reasons why we're not up over 7% right now, is the normalization of the 10-year and the 30-year. Mortgage application prints on the last 3 weeks have been at or above last year's levels. The first time you can say that in well over 2.5 years. And now we might be just a couple of good positive weeks away from getting up over 2022 levels. I think it'll be pretty hard to chase down 2022 towards the end of the year, end of November, December. But we'll see what it brings. 23 and 22, you did see mortgage applications increase in December in both of those years in comparison to late October. We're sitting again above 23. We'll see if we can catch 22 on mortgage applications and continue to ride that momentum. Pending sales right now holding strong in comparison to 2022. We're at the same number, 350,000. And right now, this versus this time last year, 7.6 more single family homes are in contract. So as wonky as I was just on a call this morning and with Tom Toole, who's going to be at BAM Mania. He'll be part of the VIP session. He'll be part of the main session. So for those of you that are coming to BAM Mania, Tom Toole will be there. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet and you want one of these last tickets, email jill@nowbam.com or go to bammania.com. But Tom said this morning to me on a phone call, he goes, the market's a little wonky. Like you can have a week, 2 weeks of, what seems to be a steady pace. And then a couple weeks that are really just very quiet or seems paused, right? And that's why you can't sacrifice your future business by, stopping the prospecting, by stopping the conversations and the new contacts and the relationships, for just doing the busy work. You got to keep both being, going at the same time. This time last year, again, 7.6% lower on pending sales. So another sign that we could have some, positive momentum heading in to 2025. That's your inventory update there for the week. Ashley says Tampa checking in. If you go back, Ashley, actually, we had a Tampa Bay little conversation here, and we were showing that inventory since the storms has dropped. And so, we were asking, kind of thinking about what that would look like here after the storms. What would inventory look like? And we're seeing signs that inventory is obviously dropping down, and it makes sense. And if you're in Tampa, obviously, I think you understand that, and I hope you're doing as best you can here after Milton. All right, Friday's report here on inflation. We had a PPI. This was after a fairly positive CPI report. Wholesale prices come in flat in September, which was below expectations. Okay, so that's up 1.8% from a year ago. By the way, PPI, producer price index, at 1.8% from a year ago is less than the 2% target. 2% target's overall inflation. They're not looking particularly just at the PPI, obviously, but they are taking this into consideration. They, meaning the Fed. Economists had been looking for a gain of 0.1%. Excluding food and energy, the PPI rose 0.2%. When you exclude food and energy, that met expectations. And those are your headline numbers there, obviously from CNBC, how they were looking at it. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics actual news release, they say that the final demand unchanged in September. Final demand prices advanced 0.2% in August and were unchanged in July. And you can also read into this that this might just be basically kind of a calm on when you look at final demand for PPI. Like this could be a little calm before you get the end of the year, surge with the holidays and all of that. But overall, good numbers. Market did react and kind of just reacted the same way that they had been reacting all week, right? Sitting at 4.1 on the 10-year. If we look at the last 5 days, it's been a steady increase from 4 to now sitting and hovering at 4.1. If we zoom out on the 1 month, obviously much more significant climb on the 10-year. This is impacting the 30-year, of course. 30-year coming in now to end the week at 6.64 last week. The Freddie Mac 30-year fixed weekly popped from 6.12 to 6.32. So those low sixes, those 5.99s on the 30-year fixed, a little bit now in the rearview mirror after we have a full week plus of over 6.5 on the 30-year fixed. Remember, year over year, our 52-week high still remains. I think it was October 19th of 2023, came in over 8%. So when you're talking to clients and to customers about the 1 year high, that was over 8%. So sitting at 6.6, still a big improvement there. All right. That is almost everything. We'll take a look at CME here after that PPI report coming in really unchanged off of Friday. If you're following this is the probabilities for a Fed cut on November's meeting. 15% chance that they do no cut, 85% chance that they do cut a quarter a point. Right now, CMA Group is saying 0% chance that would be a half a point cut. BAMX members, we made that huge announcement last week for the partnership with Zudilio. You will be now, all BAMX members, getting credentials and a Zudilio platform so that you can make forecast offers to your seller amongst so many other research tools that are built into the Zudilio platform. If you're not a BAMX member and you want to get access to that, use code ZOO. We will extend that here today for 25% off your BAMX membership. Just feeling good this week because it is BAM Mania week. Can't wait to see so many of you at BAM Mania in Vegas, end of this week. Remember, you'll get all the emails. You've gotten them, but you will see Thursday Legacy Club kicking off. LP team, where do you find the announcement details? If you are BAMX member, if you're talking about Zudilio, you should, if you don't have that email, it should be coming very soon. And if you don't, maybe if you haven't seen it yet, maybe just check your spam just in case, because it might have come directly from the Zudilio platform. So check that, but I'll check with the team if you don't have that. You can always email jill@nowbam.com if you are a BAMX member and have not seen your Zudilio credentials. Rebecca's saying she got it, and they've already actually reached out to her. So onboarding a whole bunch of BAMX members all at once. Obviously have a little bit of patience, but if you don't have it, definitely email jill@nowbam.com. For all of you that'll be at BAM Mania, I'll see VIPs on Thursday. We have a Legacy Club kickoff party at Circa for everybody. Thursday, early evening cocktail hour. Friday, the main event, and then another cocktail hour on that day. Dawn says she is working a deal now through Zudilio. Congratulations, Dawn. I mean, we're 2 days in, so there you go. Congratulations on that. All right. Can't wait to see you guys. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Wednesday will be off on the hot sheet as we're traveling into Vegas. Thursday, I'll do a live show from Vegas. Again, to connect on anything BAMX related, jill@nowbam.com, or to get your ticket to BAM Mania and get the best deal on the last call, whether you're a BAMX member or not, just let Jill know and she'll get you straightened out on what your best deal could be. All right, guys, have a great week. We'll see you soon. Until then, toodaloo.